In this video, you're going to learn how to better understand your lead's needs and which questions to ask.
So as a quick disclaimer, if you get a B2B lead, no matter if it's an inbound or outbound, it's very, very important to qualify. I can tell you stories that happened even at Yokoi or at my time at Beekeeper. If you agree to a demo or a meeting without qualifying your customer, it can really, take away a lot of your time and cause a lot of nerves. And you will also not deliver any value to your prospect. So that's why it's so important to really understand how the current process is with your prospect and what they're actually looking for and if they even have a tool in place. So let's start with the first point. The first point is ask your prospect, how does the process XYZ look today? So no matter what software you sell or what services you sell, you always have to completely understand how does the process work. And the cool side effect of this method is you can also engage with your prospect a lot. So this is really cool also for relationship building because you're genuinely interested in understanding how the process works. So for example, if I ask you, how do you do expenses today? And you tell me, we have an Excel sheet and it's completely manual. And then I start asking you, okay, so it's completely manual. So let's look at the whole process. Which part of the process gives you the most headache today? Tell me about that. Let's say it's the approval of the manager because the manager is super stressed because the manager always has to sign the expense form by hand. So, okay, what would be the impact if you could, put this on autopilot? Yeah, the impact would be, the manager is not stressed anymore. Okay, let me write this down. And these are the points you really have to dig in when you do the demo. And that's why it's so important to understand the current process and the pains that they're experiencing with the current process. And also what is, the upside for them if you can take away this pain of the current process. The next point is ask your prospect, how should this process be? In their eyes. I mean, obviously you have maybe a different solution for the process, but ask them how do you want this process to be? So let's take again the example of expense management. Usually they say, we want to have a mobile app. We should be able to approve easily on the mobile phone. From there, you can also lead the conversation in the way you want it to be. So again, you're engaging because you're asking, how should the process be? And then you can also ask questions like, did you think about auto approvals? Like, for example, if you have coffee for 4 francs, the managers really have to approve a coffee for 4 francs if it's compliant with your expense policy. And then they're like, that's actually a good point. I think we can do that. And then you can also write this down and build it into your demo. We always talk about, the golden question in qualification. I recommend this to all of you, no matter if it's software or anything else that you sell. Always ask your prospect, what do I need to show you that you will buy immediately or that will blow you away? So that's a very, very powerful question to ask because they feel engaged that you ask this and they will give you an answer. So I take again the Yokoi example of our company. They tell us, for example, if I ask this question, if your AI model can really, read out 90% of all the receipts that we have and can truly automate all the steps until finance booking. And then what I say when they tell me is, I can show you this and you will be my client because we're the only one that can actually do that. And that's why it's so important to ask this question up front. One thing in qualification, so we have this classic BANT method, budget, authority, need, timeline. And T for timeline, the last one, is actually one of the most important because I can give you the example. If I ask you about what is your timeline, when do you want to implement Yokoi? And you tell me, I want to go live by March 2023. It doesn't make any sense that we speak in September 2021. So always ask about the timeline and also put your demo at the right time to not waste any precious time that you need to close other deals. I refer again to the BANT method. B is for budget. So always ask if there's budget or if they can get budget within the year. If they tell you for this year we don't have any budget, again, don't jump on the demo. Schedule a demo for the next year when they have budget for this project, or make sure that they can get budget from somewhere. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to do a demo. The decision, again, is included in the BANT method. The A is for authority. So authority means the person you're speaking to, can this person decide by themselves? So if I speak to a CFO, I know this person can decide. Of course, I'm asking because sometimes also other stakeholders need to be included. So you ask, who do we need to include for the decision process? So you know who is in there. And for the qualification, it's really important. For example, let's say you're discussing with someone not in senior management, let's say just a finance manager that cannot take the decision by themselves. They need to show you a clear path for the decision. For example, like, I cannot decide on this project, but I will include the CFO. So once we do the demo, for next step, I will include the CFO for the discussions. Then okay, the CFO will be included from the next step on, and you will also not discuss any prices with that person.
So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch the entire playlist so that you can learn about all Lars has to say about B2B sales. Until next time, dream big and never stop learning.